Revenue Forum is a non-profit initiative started by me in 2008, and currently we organize webinars. We hold these on Thursdays on a regular basis, so about every other month. We also do half-day seminars. We do this in 12 cities and 10 countries. The coming seminar will be held in Helsinki, Reykjavik, and Oslo from the 14th to the 16th of November. I will give you some more information about this at the end of the webinar. We also organize whole day events, and this is a unique hybrid event held simultaneously online as well as physically in Stockholm, London, Milan, and Lisbon. The coming one is on the 30th of January next year, and also here more information to follow at the end of this webinar. We really hope to see you all there. The topic of this episode is the focus shift from revenue management to profit management. And as usual, we have invited an expert panel to show their insights. Participants to this webinar are a broad mix of listeners from all over the world. There are hotels ranging from 2 to 5 star, independent to large brands. And we will try to make this hour as inspiring to you all. Now, let's introduce our speakers of today. Our expert panel consists of 5 speakers who will each get 5 minutes to talk. We use a Pecha format, which means that slides automatically will change after 30 seconds. Being the first speaker, now let me start introducing myself. My name is Annemarie Gubanski, and apart from being the organizer of Revenue Forums, I am founder and CEO of Taktikon Consultancy and our soft brand Taktikon Hotels. Today, I will talk about the competence and information needs for a profit manager. And well, hope you will like that. Over to you, Niels.
Hi, I'm Niels Mekenkamp. I am from Cendyn, and I'm going to be talking about the profit powerhouse strategy for hoteliers to boost their bottom line. And over to you, Maeve.
I'm Maeve Walls from Net Affinity. So today I'm going to talk about the benefits the profit management strategy then brings to your online efforts. And then over to you, Nicola.
Hi, I'm Nicola from Upsell Guru, and today I'm going to be talking about capturing all upsell profit throughout the guest journey. Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Harwood, Executive Vice President for Frontline Performance Group, and I'm going to be talking to you about the art and science of frontline performance.
I'm Annemarie Gubanski, and I am the CEO of Taktikon and Taktikon Consultancy and Taktikon Hotels. Let me see if I can get this thing moving. So during the past Revenue Forum's webinar on the 23rd of August, I spoke about what a revenue manager needs to know nowadays. And in this webinar, I thought to be a bit more detailed and focus on the competence and information needs of a profit revenue manager. If I would shorten my speech, the conclusion is that we need a lot more detailed information about our customers and their booking behavior in order to apply total revenue management. But I still have 5 minutes left, so let me elaborate on that. First of all, we would like to have a different type of market segmentation for our leisure guests, who, for a lot of properties, are real revenue drivers. A simple deviation into leisure group and leisure individual does not give us enough information. We want to know what their needs are to adapt our pricing strategies and personalized offer to them. For most of our outsourced hotels, we prefer to work with a generational segmentation and divide our guests in the various generations they belong to. Now, Gen X has different needs and price sensitivity compared to, for instance, baby boomers. They book different room types, have different spending behavior, and different types of channels. Therewith, they impact profitability differently. And if we understand how they book, what they book, when they book, in the various stages of the customer journey, we can best adapt our pricing and distribution strategies to them and attract the most profitable guest booking from the most optimal distribution channel. So depending on generation, different channels are used. Another factor is the influencer per generation, meaning the influences of baby boomers might be their millennial family, who in their turn have different customer journey and different information needs. For this, we would like to divide our generational segmentation into various personas and try to adapt our digital strategies depending on the various persons within the segments. When it comes to the individual corporate travel, we suffice with the current segmentation, and we divide them depending on if they booked a qualified or unqualified rate. The most important information we want to have from this particular segment is distribution related, as the channels they use impact distribution costs. So from a profit management perspective, decreasing the distribution cost and optimizing the distribution mix is the most important factor for this particular segment. Talking about total and profit revenue management, we usually get into the discussion on the need of reports on TADR and TREVPAR, and this is a valid point. But most importantly, we would like reports that give us the detailed information on how to increase TADR and TREVPAR. For instance, applying conference revenue management is not as much as about finding the right price, it's more a matter of optimizing our meeting facilities. And for this, we want to track lead time and revenue per type of a meeting, number of participants, day of the week, and meeting rooms. In our total revenue management projects, we implement our quite easy to use conference tools, which help us to increase the total result of our outsourced properties. But applying conference revenue management again raises the need for a more detailed market segmentation, which we divide our customers in type of events rather than simply dividing them in business group and meeting group. We want to know if it's an event, an incentive, a board meeting, or seminar that is being booked. All these have different lead times, different needs, and impact our TADR differently. An event generates a lot of revenue, but a board meeting might influence TADR more because they spend more on site. So before accepting a certain event, which has longer lead times, we might want to hold on to our boardroom, which might be booked later. So forecasting on type of events per day of week is vital in order to succeed. To conclude my speech, we need a different approach towards market segmentation for our leisure guests. We want to have a generational segmentation, which we divide into personas. What are they looking for? What inspires them? Who influences them? Understanding the customer journey per customer and the people in their lives is vital to attract the most profitable customer in the best room type at the price point they look for and on the distribution channel of our choosing. This need for a more detailed segmentation also counts for corporate groups, and especially the groups which include meeting facilities. Conference revenue management is all about inventory management, and we need to understand the lead time and profit coming from requests, which give the optimal use of inventory. In short, applying total and profit revenue management means that we need detailed information about our customers and their booking behavior. But I already said that at the beginning of the webinar, and I know Niels is going to talk about that also in the also after me. I really hope you enjoyed my speech. If you want to know more about the digital marketing and total revenue management outsourcing packages we offer, please contact us. And for independent hotels who would like to remain independent together with us, we can offer our soft brand Taktikon hotels. Now, Niels, I really hope I didn't take away all the points that you wanted to make.
No, you haven't. You haven't, Annemarie.
Okay, well, that's a good thing.
But it's a great introduction. So great introduction to what I want to say, and it actually fits perfectly. So thank you very much.
I was hoping so. Well, if you see your slide, I hope so.
I can see my slide, and I will take it from here then. Okay. And just before I get started, Ulf, we saw your question. We will answer your question at the end of the presentations. Thank you very much. So I see a lot of familiar faces joining here today. So thank you very much for joining, and hello, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Niels Mekenkamp. I've worked in the hospitality industry for longer than I want to imagine. I began my career in the last millennium, which is crazy to think of. I started in hotels and moved into hospitality software, and I've worked for companies like IHG, Hilton, Ideas, EasyRMS, Infor, and of course my current employer, Cendyn. So at Cendyn, we help hoteliers to connect with their guests at every single touch point of the journey. So from digital marketing to meta search to websites, all the way to CRM and revenue management solutions. And this topic, total revenue management or profit management, is always something that I've been very passionate about in my career, and I'm going to really enjoy this session. So, Annemarie, let's go. Talked about revenue management and profit management for the last at least 10 to 15 years, and we're still not there. And that's because we as hoteliers are very stubborn and we find it very hard to change. But in order for things to change, we need to change our fundamentals. And the first thing we should do is move away from measuring success in RevPAR. RevPAR means absolutely nothing. And I know I'm being controversial here, but it's a bit like doing the same thing if you look at Tesla and say, what's the average price that Tesla sells their cars at, and use that as a metric for their success. But of course, you'll say it's easier said than done. And you're right. But if we want to move, we have to start somewhere. And the foundation is a pretty good place to start. And I once had a GM who used to say, know your costs. And this is a good starting point. What is the cost of selling a room? There are very few people that I know that can give me an exact number, especially if you look at breakdown by distribution, cleaning, energy, staff, and other costs, and by room type. So one of the fundamentals when you start your own business is knowing the costs. And essentially what you do is you take that cost price, you mark it up, and that's how you get your selling price. And in hospitality, what we often do is we look at our competitors and then base our competitors' price and to determine our own price, which is a little bit crazy if you think about it. So once you know your costs, you can start then finding out who your most profitable guests are. And this can be done based on segments, it can be done based on channel, country, age, or the demographic for sure, language, device type, and many other factors. And then when you have that, you can start using analytics to try and narrow down who they are and try to define a smaller number of ideal guest profiles. So once you know your most profitable guests and know who they are, you can start categorizing them. Then you need to work out why they come to your hotel. Is it location? Is it your style? Is it your trendiness? Is it the service of staff? You need to get a full understanding of who those most profitable guests are and what they want. Then comes the most difficult, or a difficult step, let's put it like that. Do you want to give these ideal guests what they want? And how do you give them that when they want it, at the price they want it to pay? Or even better, can you give them something that they don't even know they want at the right time? This again comes down to data. You need to analyze your data. So with data, you can discern what they want and when they want it. So hotels sit on a gold mine of guest data. And often this data remains dormant in one of the many silos that we have. So if you combine all of your data from your PMS, from your survey results, from your spa software, from your loyalty system, your guest portal, your website, your booking engine, and all of your other data sources, you can build an amazing picture of who that guest is and what they really want and when they want it. So but by combining this data into a central repository like a CRM or CDP, you can bring all of those data points together and use that knowledge in order to better serve that guest. So from your PMS, you get your stay date, your length of stay, your room type. From your guest portal, you know their preferences, their hobbies, etc. From your survey tool, you see what they liked, what they didn't like, what means a lot to them. From your website and booking engine, you can see how often they shopped, they visited, what they were looking for, and most importantly, what triggered them. So with this data, you can then, of course, reach out and market to them. And you can reach out via direct messaging, through advertising, through digital marketing activity. But a simple thing like receiving a confirmation email that says, how nice of you to come back to our hotel again, is a wow moment. And if you then show an image of a vegan meatloaf from your seasonal menu in that same confirmation, you actually acknowledge that you know who I am, a vegan foodie. Can you see? But you can also do this by personalizing direct marketing. So when a guest clicks on that link, the personalized messaging continues on your website. And then so your guest truly feels that it's their own personal journey. You can then offer a special rate or package, especially for this guest. And in that way, you're doing as much as you can to appeal to that guest. So if they really want to come and really want to stay with you again, that's when you've done your job right. But of course, you would want this to all be automated, because the last thing you want to do is having to spend hours of work on a daily basis. So in summary, what you need to do is understand your costs. You need to understand which guests are the most profitable. You need to understand what these guests want and how you can make sure that you do everything in your power to ensure that you grow these guest segments. Because if you grow these guest segments, you grow your profit. And if you then automate guest recognition, you give them what they want, when they want it, and they will come to you more and more again. So you can grow that share of highest profit guests. But first, of course, you need to work on those fundamentals. So if you want to know more, feel free to reach out and have a chat with me. Here are my details on the screen. So feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.
Introduction of the next speaker, Maeve Walls. Maeve, I hope that you see your slides.
I do indeed. Thanks very much, Annemarie. And thanks, Neil, for the great speech before me. Some of what I'll talk about kind of ties in nicely from what Annemarie, what you've talked about, and Niels as well. So it's nice to see we're all on the same page. So before I get started, I suppose just to introduce me, I'm Maeve Walls from Net Affinity. Net Affinity itself is established over 20 years ago, and we work with hundreds of clients across Ireland, the UK, and Europe. We provide booking engine technology, digital marketing, and website design to independent resort and group hotels. This year has been an exciting year for us. We launched a brand new booking engine earlier in the year, so that has kept us very busy. And it's we've been getting great feedback from clients in industry about it as well. So good year all around. So today for me, I'm going to focus on the benefits profit management brings then to your online strategy. So let's go. Perfect. So first thing is really a quick overview of the process, and Annemarie and Niels have touched on some of this as well, so I won't spend too long on this. But moving over to profit management focus, there has to be a company-wide buy-in. Each department really has to know their role in what the overall goal is to achieve those targets. Each channel then has to be analysed to confirm the value of it, so we get a hierarchy of channels, and I'll chat on that a little bit more in a sec. And then to improve the guest in-house experience while still driving that profitability. And I know Nicola and Nick, who are following on from me, have great insights to share on that. And then to build guest loyalty through email subscription and loyalty schemes as well. So I suppose to look at some of those points in more detail, so that idea of a company-wide approach and not, I suppose, what we're familiar with seeing as being revenue and sales and marketing aligned, but a whole company approach that it becomes ingrained culture, that it is that core focus, that there's an acceptance and an understanding. So I think it's the understanding is the core part, because you'll get the buy-in then. And then decisions to be made on a company approach on what the commercial goals are, that decisions and departments don't undermine each other. That classic example of revenue and marketing have to work together. Whatever you're selling, it got to match what's on the website when you come in, so that nothing undermines each other. So I suppose in short, just those team goals all have to be aligned. You need to be trying to get to the same end result to work together. And it's to analyze those channels. And I know Niels and Annemarie, you both touched on this as well. It's to look at those channels and decide, well, how profitable are they, and how good your reports are really going to underpin how good that analysis is. So there's no shortage of data out there, but it's making sure you've got the most pertinent information to evaluate that data and make informed decisions. And it's making sure as well that those reports are accessible to all the relevant teams. No one person should be the gatekeeper to either reports or knowledge. I mean, that's really where you get that buy-in is people who kind of can see the reports and know what's happening. Within the costs, like you need to understand what the cost is for each of those channels, the customer types as well that are coming in, where they're coming from, what their lead-in times is, what their demographics are, and as well you need to see what the cancellation rates are. What's the true value that's coming in from those channels. We can't just look at it and say X channels delivers this and leave it at that. And I think really the cost is the big point, because it's much more. It's not just the commission. We can't just look at it and say, okay, it's costing me this much and leave it at that. It's all those hidden costs that will come in from a channel, whether it's member discounts, mobile discounts, perks, like things like free breakfast, free upgrades, taxis, you name it. That's all going to eat into your end profitability for a channel. So it's to be very clear about how much that channel is really costing you. And then there's a knock-on effect with OTA disparity on rates as well. So, there's an ability for OTAs to undercut when they're using the virtual credit cards for part payment and or selling on third-party rates. And, really what it's doing is via hotel ads, which we're all aware of, it'll make those lower rates really visible. We're basically just advertising that there's lower rates elsewhere. And it has that effect that, your marketing campaigns then can underperform, and it looks like there's a problem with the campaign, but there isn't. It's, it's one channel having a really negative impact on a more profitable brand site. So it's to be really aware of the true impacts that these issues can have on channels. And again, it's you want to, and it's no easy job to do that analysis, but it is to kind of get to that point and say, okay, really, what is the true profitability of this channel? And then to be clear that I said there is a hierarchy of who you want to prioritize and really focus on. So along with looking at the channels, then really the guest journey comes into focus. And Niels had a really good similar slide on it. And it's looking at these essential touch points on the guest journey that you kind of look at and say, well, where automation has grown over time. So it's looking at each of those touch points and seeing, do they deliver what you want? Are they being used in the way that you expected? And is there more potential for them? Again, can they be used in better ways? And you want to understand that one system is going to influence decisions on another. So as Niels was saying, you want to make sure that there's joined up thinking between those systems, that you get consolidated reports for what they're doing. And who you partner with is just as important as the touch point itself. So for us in Net Affinity, we definitely see the greatest successes are with hotels that are aligned themselves internally and then work with us as an extension of their team. So true partners that communicate their commercial goals to us, and we'll provide the booking engine and digital marketing for them, sharing details on overall performance. I mean, the more we know, the more we can gain insights on, and then working together for detailed marketing strategies. And it's worth noting, it might sound small, but to make sure on performance reviews that you've got the key stakeholders involved in those meetings, because, don't leave it to just one or two key persons. You need to make sure that everyone's involved. And again, that's what keeps the buy-in going. And at Net Affinity, we offer a wide range of services. So it definitely places us in a nice position to support our clients and definitely help them reach their goals. So definitely, if you'd like to hear more about Net Affinity, let me know. I know I had a lot there, my 5 minutes to go through, so I hope I got through it all okay. But if you'd like to hear more, definitely reach out to us at Net Affinity.
But yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and represent Upsell Guru today. My background started working in hotels around 20 years ago. I am in the front desk teams and part of the revenue teams as well, doing a lot of projects within the revenue teams. And then eventually I joined the wonderful world of hotel technology in 2017, where I joined Upsell Guru as the UK sales manager there, and we've helped hundreds of hotels upgrade their upsell strategy. So today, my presentation is going to focus in on all the key areas within the guest journey where you can capture your profits. Okay, and I'm just about ready to go. Yep, go. Okay, earlier we had a great explanation about the guest journey and how your PMS, booking engine and CRM can support it. In marketing, the guest journey typically starts with the dreaming stage. So this is when your potential guest is starting to think about coming to the hotel and making a trip. Today, I'm going to start at the booking stage, right through to departure. And here I'm going to examine what the key opportunities are to drive incremental revenue and profit through upselling at each one of these stages. When we are driving revenue and profit, every moment matters. So we need to have a strategic focus, optimizing each stage. Each stage of the guest journey is impacted by both technology and by people. Some are technology driven and people supported, while for others, it's the exact opposite. So let's examine that a little bit more closely. Today, most stages are technology-led and people-supported. As an example, in pre-arrival, technology can automatically send and present the right offer to the right guest at the right time. But of course, people still design it. In comparison, on arrival is mostly people-led. However, technology should still play an important role by supporting front desk agents with incentives and giving them the right insights to deliver the best offer to the guest that is in front of them. Now we know what the driving force is, either people or technology. Let's analyse the revenue and profit so we can truly understand how big the upselling opportunities are at each of these stages. Remember, while the overall revenue you can achieve in some of the stages might be quite high, the actual upsell, it might be lower. The upsell profit is a lot higher. And this is attractive for owners who can take this money straight to the bank. Let's start with the booking stage. This is critical for bringing guests to the hotel, but the focus here is on using technology-led solutions to help sell and convert the booking rather than to upsell. The departure stage is similar, as again, we rely on technology to continue to engage with our guests post-stay with offers and promotions to entice them to book again. But the upsell opportunity is limited here, and it's not necessarily a focus. The pre-arrival is crucial for upselling and boosting profit. Typically today, we can engage with 70% of our guests before they check in. Using smart tech, we can send tailored offers and upgrades of personalised amenities or experiences to meet any additional needs they may have or tempt them to treat themselves before they arrive. By empowering them to customise their stay, it adds value to their experience and your bottom line. This is a win-win combination. On arrival is the biggest upselling opportunity of all stages, as you can see, with the highest profit. What's powerful here is your team can engage with every single guest, and new upsell revenue can be achieved with minimal added costs as the guest is already on site. With the right tech and staff training to support and motivate your team for upselling, you can ensure that they seize this amazing upsell opportunity. The in-stay is slightly smaller, but we should still see this as a key focus area, and we can increase this as the profit is also good. Technology will help you engage with your guests, bringing them relevant information based on location, special promotions or offers of the day or of the hour. For upselling, our goal really should be to excel in all these three key stages of upsell opportunity, not just one or two. I hope you agree, to become a profit manager, you must capture all of this upsell opportunity at all these three key stages. And you're going to need a really great partner to help you with this. When selecting, a single upselling platform should be a must. Managing multiple partners for each stage of the journey is a nightmare. A tech partner who can also support skills development and offer consulting will also add hugely to your profit management success. In summary, capture it all. Collaboration with the right partner for pre-arrival, on-arrival and in-stay interactions is a highly effective strategy for profit growth. The synergy between technology, staff and guest engagement significantly elevates the guest experience while driving profit. Hoteliers, you need to unlock this opportunity. And by the way, Upsell Guru does it all exceptionally well. Thank you so much for listening. I got through that just on time. I would be more than happy to review and discuss your upsell strategy that you have and obviously analyse with you what your potential profit opportunities are within the guest journey and tap into that additional revenue. So I look forward to connecting with you all. Thank you again for listening.
No, thank you very much for speaking, Nicola. And I also think I hardly get asked anything about check-ins, nothing about you want to have a better room or something. It really does not happen that often. And I think really you are quite right. It is an opportunity missed and it is a training thing. And I think also maybe people find themselves maybe a bit insecure to be too much of a selling point.
Yeah, and I think as well with the pre-arrival interactions, when we we can reach out to the guest pre-arrival and we can also give our front desk teams an insight to what's happened pre-arrival as well, which is again really, really powerful for that check-in and give them the confidence to obviously approach and upsell with a guest face-to-face.
Yeah, yeah. So right. Thank you so much for that, Nicola. Well, let's see if our next speaker is also just like having talking about a bit of the same type of information. Nick Harwood, I hope that you are also ready for your 5 minutes.
I'm ready. Thank you, Annemarie, and thank you, Nicola, actually, for the introduction about Frontline being the most profitable part of the upselling process. I appreciate that. Just to give you a little bit of background, so nice to meet everybody. I'm new to the hospitality industry. I've been in the travel industry. I worked in the airline business. I got trapped in car rental for too long. But 2 years ago, I joined FPG, Frontline Performance Group. And actually, I knew them when I was in Europe Car, in the car rental company, because we recruited FPG at the front desk. And the results were incredible. In fact, it was about 10 years ago. The results were incredible. I saw what it did to the business from the other side. I saw what it did to customer experience. I saw what it did to the employees on the front desk. So having left Europe Car, I'm now joining FPG, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you today what FPG is all about. And if you please go to the slides, Annemarie, you can start the clock ticking. So what do we do? It's about the art and the science. I think we've talked a lot today about the science with the previous presenters, but the art is all about the people. You know, the people, it's the content in the program and the process. We maximize service and revenue touch points, which we know are extremely valuable, and performance. You guys getting revenue, RevPAR impact is our value proposition, and our Engage platform is our support engine. We're in over 100 countries globally. We have a customer success network with multi-language skills in those markets. We also have an LMS library with the language skills in it. There's over 60,000 users of the Engage platform. And actually, the year-to-date return on investment for this new revenue is 26 times, so under 4% cost of sale. Globally, we have many, many partners. We've been in business for 30 years, so we have a proven track record. We're still growing. And you can see here many of our global partners and regional partners. The global partners are in red, but some very strong relationships, over 2,000 hotels globally benefiting from the program and driving the incremental revenue from the front desk. So one of the key areas is the leadership impact. And again, it's about people. I mean, we talked earlier that this is a very profitable, this upsell at the front desk is extremely profitable. You've got an empty room. These are real results that are coming from these segments of hotels. And we experience these where we have an adoption of the program, and you can see the different categories of the properties. And again, it doesn't matter what size or how many rooms, this is what we get. We're huge believers in the potential of people. And I think it's, you know, we talk a lot about technology, but it's very much people where the action is. It's that face-to-face contact. You know, we're elevating the role of the front line, the front desk. You know, these people are often least paid, least educated, and this program focuses on them. And if you think about it, they're the first person that customers see when they walk into the hotel. And this is where much of the conversion is done. 5 ways to win here, 5 win, 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 win. So we have management that win because you're getting the RevPAR impact, which is critical. The agents are developing lifetime skills. And I saw this in Europe Car. They're happier, they're more motivated, and they're delivering. We have a champion program. We certify key individuals at the front desk that go to the next level. And obviously the guest, we're consistently offering your guests your best services. So the customer service scores go up, as well as the ownership getting the profit. The art and science is very simple. We have a framework that we follow, whether it's above property, general management, or champions or agents, believing in the program the core elements that are simple but drive the program, that how to maximize your impact, and then follow the process. Be consistent, use the Engage platform, talk with your customer success consultant. This is a very unique proposition. Then the Engage platform, which takes data from your PMS, about 20 data points, gives you all of the reporting, the e-learning, goal setting, auditing of upsells, incentivization, and recognition. So you've got your people delivering, but the support platform is helping the leadership and the front desk agents see how they're doing and improve their performance on a consistent, constant basis. So guaranteed results, it all comes together. We have FPG program, the Engage platform, the service-based sales progress, our customer success team that support the hotels, the management support, the champion certification, the implementation of the program, and you're getting the results. It's educating, motivating, consulting, proven content, CSC team, and the Engage platform. Guaranteed results, proven. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's over 2,000 hotels globally benefiting from the program, all enjoying the program. The business is growing. And if you wish to have more information, you have my contact details. You can contact me on LinkedIn. We have a global organization. We'd be very happy to talk with you about how you can join the program. Thank you very much, Annemarie.
No, thank you very much, Nick. Interesting. I think you touch also, I think what you say, and I agree on that. It's very easily forgotten that staff actually is vital in this in the process, and sometimes also think that it's in the small details. One of my favorite hotels, what they do is actually there's a little bit of coffee in the room. If they see that we don't take decaf, because I don't see the point in taking decaf coffee, and we stay longer. It's just like they make sure that it's just like they take it away and they put other things in the room. It's just like these small things that make them actually see that that I'm being noticed. It's I don't really know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I do, and I think there's a lot of focus on technology because it reduces costs, but often the people side is ignored, and that's where a lot of the rich margin comes from, and the customer service element. So I fully agree with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, let's go over maybe then to a panel discussion. And actually what we try to do this time is see if we can engage our listeners. So everybody who's like joining our webinar, we have a few poll questions for you. I've asked all speakers to prepare one, and let's see, maybe we can just like start with the poll question that Niels gave us. If I have the right one, there it is.
Thank you very much, Annemarie. So, how many of you know the cost of selling your bedrooms? So how many of you know the cost of selling your bedrooms? Yes, the answers are yes, I know how much it costs on average. Yes, I know how much it costs by room type in detail. No, but I will start looking at it. And the last one is cost. Is that something that I do, or do I leave it to my financial controller? So up to you to answer those questions.
Like 50% says, yes, I know how much it costs. About 70%, yes, I know by room type and in detail. 24% no, but I will start looking at it. And 8% leaves it to their financial controller so far. Did you expect this?
Well, you know, I know you have an educated audience, Annemarie, so I should have expected it. However, I think there are a lot of people that sort of know on average, they know about how much it is, but they don't know it in detail. And I think it's very important to start looking into it, right? Because there's a big difference between selling a suite or selling a standard room. And then it also helps with upselling at the front desk, and you know, with Nicola, or the two NHs with Nicola Hawitt and Nick Harwood. You know, both being very focused on that front desk upsell. You know, how low can you go? how much margin do you have on each of your room types, and can I sell that suite for 10 euros extra, or should I sell it for 20 euros extra? And that's an important thing to know, and that's an important distinction to make. So knowing it by room type in detail is actually something that's quite important, saying that. But
yeah, in all honesty, I know that we have a very educated audience, but knowing the cost per room type, I think that actually is quite a high percentage that we see, 50%. They have a very, very, very detailed knowledge.
Absolutely. Very impressed.
Interesting. Any final remarks?
Well, I think we'll get to it in the discussions, but I think no, it was interesting to see all of the different views, and I think the presentations actually aligned very well. So no, it was very interesting. But I look forward to the discussion.
Yeah, thank you for this question. I really liked it. I was really interested to see what would happen. Well, maybe we can just like see if there's also just like a next poem. We have one from Maeve. Let me see if I can launch that one. Maeve, you have a question to the audience as well.
I do. It's a bit of a shorter question. So it tied in with that kind of buy-in to what the strategies are. So it was just the question: are your teams aligned on commercial goals, and how you're going to achieve them? So it's a yes, a no, or a somewhat. And I suppose when I'm saying your teams, I do mean all teams, not just the two marketing and revenue teams. That's the catch. So yeah, so I'll be interested in see what comes in.
Yeah, so far there's a lot of yeses. Teams that are aligned with the commercial goals and how to achieve them. Would you in your question, did you also have in mind like the operational staff?
Yeah, and I think that's where it ties in with what Nick and Nicola are talking about, is that upsell. Because I mean there's so much effort goes into getting that guest, but it's when you actually have them and then they're on site, it's the physical guest experience that they have has such a big impact. But it's the understanding of the value of that guest, and you know that's where that alignment really comes in to complete the experience. So yeah.
Now let me see how far we got. So we have about 58% that says yes, teams are aligned on commercial goals. 13% goes to no, and 29% is somewhat aligned. I actually did expect, when I saw your question, much higher ratio on the somewhats. Not that I think that hotels are not aligned, but to have like all the departments.
Yeah. It's good. Like, I mean, that's really encouraging, and that's really positive, and it's positive for all of us on this call, because it's what we want to see hotels to get to that point of having everybody on the same page, and having the same awareness of what the goals and objectives are for customers. So yeah, no, it's a really positive result to see on the question.
I think so. And I think also this shows, I mean, there's a lot of talk about like breaking down the silos, and hotels are not really, have not really done so. And I think this actually just like shows quite well. We are actually like on a very positive trail. And I really like this result actually. And it's easier, it's more difficult said than done.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. Like, it's a much bigger undertaking to have it across all teams. So yeah.
Now, to put you on the spot, but then do you see that there's a difference in per markets? Like, I know that you're very strong on the UK, but you're quite strong on other countries as well. Do you see that there's a difference, also cultural difference from country to country?
In terms of that kind of alignment within hotels, or I think it more depends maybe on the type of hotel. I suppose it just depends on the resources on property. I think that's more where we see the bigger difference than the location itself.
Yeah, well, you might be right. I mean, but then the larger the organization, the more difficult it is to get them aligned.
Yeah, and I suppose then there's more, I suppose, not red tape, but yeah, I suppose a lot of the hotels we work with are independent or kind of smaller groups, so they have that ability to make their own decisions and changes, so it definitely helps.
Okay. Well, we get back to the results maybe later on, but let's see if we can have like a new poll. And then it's Nicola's poll, which is of course about upselling.
Yeah, so my question was, do you feel capturing upsell profit in pre-arrival, on arrival, and in-stay should be a must as part of your overall revenue strategy? And just 2 answers, either yes or no.
It's easier.
I didn't want to give anyone a maybe.
No.
So yeah, so just interested to see what people's views are on the upsell across the guest journey. I think sometimes there has been, you know, a lot of focus on either the pre-arrival or either the front desk or communication in stay. So I was obviously talking about, you know, maximizing your profit in all 3 of those areas. And I just wanted to see whether people think that this would be now part of their overall revenue strategy going forward.
Well, so far, all of them are with you. Actually, you have 100% yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I think so, and I think also, I mean, I don't know if it would if it surprises you, but then when I saw your question, I thought, yeah, I think that this is going to be the outcome. Didn't really think that it was 100% yes. But of course, I mean, it's a very important thing. And I think it's sometimes also easily missed, pre-arrival notices.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also, yeah, sorry, do you?
No, go on, sorry.
On this pre-arrival notice, do you differ also per market segmentations, like when they get these kind of pre-arrival notices?
Yeah, it's exactly the same throughout all of the, you know, all of the tech that we use at Upsell Guru. It is completely personalized to each guest segmentation. It can even depend on, you know, how they made the reservation, so their booking source and what day of the week they're coming on. There's so many factors that will help, you know, hotels segment out their guests so they can give them, you know, the right upsell at the right time. And that's the same for the front desk as well. So obviously when you have a guest in front of you at the front desk, it's a really great that if you've got technology that will help prompt you to sell that specific guest a specific upsell that's going to make sense to them. So we're continuing that personalized, you know, upsell approach from the pre-arrival to the front desk as well. Right through to in-stay.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you so much, Nicola. Let's go to the final poll question then and see what we can get from the question that we got from Nick. And of course, I mean, it's about the front desk teams, right, Nick?
Yeah, no, very, very much, Annemarie. I think the question is, if you focus, please, on upselling. So the question, therefore, is how much time in 1 week do you spend educating, motivating, and incentivizing the front desk team? And again, with a focus on incremental revenue, please. 0, below 30 minutes, 30 to 60 minutes, or above 1 hour.
Wow. Okay. Most votes right now are for 0. Let's see if we can get more people to reply. But it's 0, between 0 and below 30 minutes per week, it looks like, is the big winner here. Do you experience that as well in the hotels that you visit?
Well, I think the answer is yes. I'm sort of pleased and sad by that. I think I'm pleased from a FPG perspective because it shows the level of opportunity there is to pretty much, you know, train, motivate, educate. And for the hotels, therefore, to get incremental revenue. So it's good from an opportunity. It's sad from an employee standpoint, I think, because they're missing out on some of this. So I believe it represents an opportunity for many of the hotels that are at the forum today.
Yeah. It's a pity we don't have a follow-up question, which I could reply. It's like, after this webinar, would you like to spend more on educating your front desk team? But what kind of education is it that you're out after? Because it might also be, an education might be, okay, always never send with the back with your back to front desk or something like that.
Well, I think there's quite a few things. So there's building a rapport with the guest. There's simple things like smile, use the name, etc. And we take these for granted, but often then new people don't understand the real positive impact that gets the opening conversation off, and then offering your best services, understanding the features and benefits in the rooms and being able to offer your best services to the customers, which in the end improves the customer experience as well as the incremental revenue the hotel is getting. So, I mean, one of the things we've done is really simplified, because we're very aware of the amount of time that front desk agents have, where the industry is at regarding recruitment and retention. So we very much modernized our program in line with that. So, it's appreciative of people's time that is available. So yeah, I think feels like there's some good opportunities. And as I said earlier, Annemarie, if anyone wishes to reach out, where I am.
Yeah.
Sorry, Annemarie, if I may add something, I think, Nick, you come from the car rental industry, and I actually rented a car last weekend, and immediately when I arrived, this was actually an amazing experience, because my flight was delayed. I actually missed the closing time of the desk at the airport, and the guy waited for me at the desk. So I was 15 minutes after their closing time, and I came running up, and he said, "I know what you want. You need a bottle of water." So he went to the fridge, got me like a really ice cold bottle of water, which was amazing, and then immediately offered me an upgrade. Now, with that's quite unusual, I always find, for car rental companies, and that's probably because he wanted to leave and he wanted a good review. But normally with car rental companies, when you arrive at the desk, the first thing you're offered is an upgrade for your insurance, and an upgrade of car for a nominal price, right? So and if you don't take that upgrade, you generally get upgraded. Whereas in hotels, you arrive at the front desk and they say, "Oh, congratulations, we've upgraded you." They don't even offer you to be upgraded. If you were to say, "I've got a fantastic junior suite for you, and it's only going to cost you €10, you might say, "Well, that's a good deal," and you'd still be just as happy as receiving that free upgrade. And I think that sometimes is the lesson that we need to learn, right? It's that additional step.
I agree. It's something that since joining FPG and traveling and checking into hotels, you're quite disappointed if you're not offered another room or the opportunity to take another room, whether it's a city view, sea view, river view, etc.
Or worse,
etc. So you end up being quite disappointed. You would like that opportunity. So again, I do believe it's something. It's a huge opportunity, and it's good for the customer as well as for the hotels.
But it can also be worse, because if you offered an upgrade 3 times in a row, and the 4th time you're not offered an upgrade, then you're disappointed, right? Well, so that's the count. The flip side of it as well. Yeah. So that's why if you upsell, then you're always offered to pay for it, and even if it's a small amount, you're paying for it. And if you're then not offered that upgrade, you're okay with it. Whereas if it's free, then you come to expect it.
Yeah. No, good point. And many do. I mean, many hotels seem very operationally focused, and really, although that can be good, it does miss opportunities. And I think it's about getting the balance right, but again, with the customer in mind as well.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Actually, I was thinking maybe, Nicola, I mean, as we are talking about upselling in this, do you have also the same view on the upselling, just like upon check-in?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of hotels will almost use giving free upgrades out as a way of kind of balancing their inventory. So the fact that that, you know, the guest is present, you know, at the desk, they are, I guess, would like that opportunity to upgrade, and not only putting a value on that room upgrade, it adds value to their stay as well. And it adds value to that room, and it gives them a better experience than getting a complimentary upgrade every time they come to the hotel. So I just think that it's really important that hotels monetize on, you know, any kind of, you know, rooms that they have available to help them balance their inventory, but at the same time using, you know, pre-arrival to offer upgrades. Then they can balance inventory. They know exactly how many upgrades they've then got on the day to upgrade to customers, and they can, you know, incentivize and motivate their staff as well. So, you know, win-win for everybody. The guest has added value, you know, the agent, you know, feels a lot more motivated in their role, and obviously the hotels get more profit. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Maeve, I had just like one question, referring back to the question that Niels actually asked, like the cost of selling. Did you also expect that many people to say, yes, we understand exactly what the cost of selling is per room type?
Yeah, I think it's the detail on it, because I think a lot of them said they knew it on average. It's the detail of knowing it by the room type, I think, is the key point of that. It's about knowing it down to the room type level. But yeah, even that, the volume that knew it on average is definitely encouraging to see. Because yeah, you would sometimes wonder, is that level of clarity there on the cost? So from that side, you know, they're on the right track. It's then just delving into that extra detail.
Thank you. So before we close off, because I mean, it's already 4 o'clock, at least my time. We had a question, please explain the measurements you refer to. I think a question came in right after my speech. I'm not really sure if this is what you're out for, but then Niels also replied to the question, what measurements I am referring to. I think in my speech I had quite a number of measurements. If it's like, okay, what are we supposed to do? It depends a little bit on the type of revenue management that we apply. Yeah, specific KPIs. I mentioned TADR and TRevPAR, total ADR. So it's not the ADR that we are looking for normally is like the ADR, it's like room revenue, average spend. But the TADR, it means actually this like the total spend per day, per room. So the average total spend, and then instead of RevPAR, you also then have TRevPAR. So it looks at the total amount of revenues coming in per available room. Ulf, I hope that answered your question.
Maybe in addition to that, Annemarie,
Yeah.
I think Maeve had a very good point when she said, you know, all of our goals should align in all of the departments, right? And I think measurements and metrics are very important in hotels, because you need metrics to be able to measure your success, right? You need to be able to define, okay, that's what I want to achieve, and then you can work towards that. But if you have all of those metrics for all of your departments aligned, and you're all working towards the same goal, that's what you want to achieve. And the worst thing is to have F&B working towards food costs, revenue management working towards RevPAR, sales working towards number of rooms sold. You all have different metrics, so you're all working against each other instead of working with each other. Yeah,
I think a very, very, very valid point. Thank you so much for that final remark, Niels. You're very right in that. Thank you so much. Well, it's 4 o'clock, at least, as said, my time. So let's finish off the webinar, and I really hope you had an enjoyable hour. Our next webinar will be on the 14th of December. And we will close off the year with travel statistics for the hotel industries. We have speakers from Expedia, Muse, Taktikon, and more to show you statistics, see what has been happening this year, and maybe we can learn something from it for the coming year. We will send a recording of the webinar to you as soon as possible. And now for our listeners in Sweden, On the note of conference revenue management, next week we organize a webinar. It's on the 11th of October. It's going to be me together with Hendrik Carlson speaking from Benchmarking Alliance. You see on the screen, you see where you can register, and I hope you all want to join. We will talk about conference revenue management. Also, for participants in the Nordic countries, November we will return to Helsinki, Reykjavik, and Oslo with our Revenue Forum seminars. We will do this on the 14th to the 16th of November. And depending on the city, we have speakers from Benchmarking Alliance again, but also Profit Room, Hotels Network, The Edge, Yield Planet, Book Assist, and Taktikon. Last but certainly not least, on the 30th of January, we will hold our yearly event. This is really a global and unique event. It's a hybrid event held simultaneously in Stockholm, London, Milan, and Lisbon also next year, as well as online. If for our online participants who are not able to join us in any of these cities, you will just see live what is happening on scene in London, in Milan, and in Stockholm. Very nice to see to look at. We currently have a special rate for a full day of fantastic speakers, panels, interviews, workshops, and more. So go to our website, globalrevenueforum.com, and well, book your seat. Hope to see you there. And that was all from us today. I hope to meet you on our next webinar, on one of our seminars or events. And thank you so much to our speakers, Niels Mekenkamp, Maeve Walls, Nicola Hawitt, and Nick Harwood for your inspiration. And thank you as well to my colleague, Johanna Aline, for taking care of the organization of the webinar. And especially thank you all participants for listening. It was a joy to have you here. Thank you.